Man, Dogecoin is the future, bro. Like, who's got the few $1,000,000 in the bank account? I think it's me. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I know what I'm doing.
So I literally watched this guy live lose around $1,000,000 during the SNL Elon Musk show. And the guy was laughing. Yes, and he really made $1,000,000 in 69 days with Dogecoin, the meme cryptocurrency, the joke coin, the Elon Musk coin. He's worth now, I think, around $2,000,000 in Dogecoin. But of course, it changes by the minute because it's a very volatile market. I'm really fascinated by him, but he also drives me insane because he won't sell his coins. He still lives in his tiny little studio apartment in LA and drives a beat up Toyota. So yeah, when I first heard about his story, I thought two things. He got lucky, and the other thing was that he's making a big mistake by not, cashing out. I saw a lot of stories about him. He's been on the cover of the business section of the New York Times, and CNBC wrote about him. And he's sort of a celebrity on YouTube now, and I think he's kind of a leader for the diehard Doge community. But really, I have not heard or read a more in-depth story to understand how he made it and why he won't sell. So I wanted him to tell us. So this is a 47-minute interview. So if you need to jump into different chapters or sections, please find the timestamps down in the description. In this channel, I only do my videos in Arabic. I talk, markets and crypto, but for this one, it was too hard for me to cut it into my usual 8-10 minute pieces. I thought it would be unfair. I really loved it so much, and I decided to post the whole interview. And I apologize for my non-English speaking audience because I'm not able to translate the whole thing. So let's get into it, but let's hear quickly from the channel sponsor, Eivest. So tell me how you started with business. So when you were a kid, what was like the first business transactions that you had?
It's funny because looking back now, I can see it as business. Back then, it was really just trying to make some money, right? I remember being a kid, and I said this in the podcast. I remember being a kid and just being upset that we were so poor. So one of the things that I did was I used to go into my closet and just grab old toys, old action figures, G.I. Joes, little toys that I didn't play with anymore. And when I was a kid, I'd put them in my backpack on the way to school and jump in the school bus. And so I remember vividly like selling them for like $2, $5, here and there with a bunch of kids. And I used to come home with like $20, $25. And my mom was like, where did you get $25? Where did you get these $30? And I'm like, I just sold some of my old toys. It's not a big deal. That was one of the stories. Another thing that happened too when I was a kid was I remember trying to understand where all the money was going. Like, why couldn't we afford things? Why couldn't we buy nice things? And I sat at the dinner table one time, and my dad was like, look, this is what's happening. He basically said, let's sit down and put it all on paper. So I sit down with him. I'm probably 8 years old at this time, maybe 8 or 9. And he's writing down how much he makes. He says, I make this amount of money. He says, your mom makes this amount of money. And these are the expenses. We have rent. He writes down the rent. We have car. We have gas. We have food. So he's running down the list of things. And I'm like sitting there like this, like trying to understand everything. And he gets to a point in the list where he writes down piano lessons. And at that time, my mom thought it was really important for us to learn an instrument. So one of her friends that, played piano back in her day was super nice and like gave us a huge discount. Like me and my sister, $50 a month, right? For both of us to do piano lessons twice a month or something, or 3 times or something like that. So when we get to that point in the list, I vividly remember I was like, Dad, cross that off the list. We don't need piano lessons. That's not important. We don't need that to survive. We could save $100 right there. $50 for me and $50 for my sister paying piano lessons. We don't need piano lessons. So, you know, that's something else I remember. Another thing too was when I had just graduated from high school. I had just turned 18. And I was in Richmond, Virginia at this time. And there's this company called Vector Marketing. I remember they had this program called Fast Start. So what Fast Start is they give you 10 days for you to sell as many knives as possible. In those 10 days, there's brackets, right? So it's like, oh, if you sell $1,000 of knives, you get a free gift. Or if you sell 2,000, you get a free gift and this gift. If you sell 3,000, you get this gift, and this gift, and you get 20% of commission or whatever, right? So there's a ranking all the way up to 10,000. So 10,000 was the most that you could hit for that 10 days, right? And then at 10,000, you get all the gifts leading up to 10,000. So you get a bunch of kitchen knives, you get all of these like different things that they have, and you get the 20% on commission, and they take you out to dinner, like a fine dining dinner with like a limousine and like this whole thing, right? So I thought everybody was gonna go crazy. I thought everybody was gonna like work really hard and like call like and go sell knives and stuff like that. So what I did was I was going to church at that time with my mom. Well, my family always was in church. So what I did was I took the church directory and I called every single person from our church to sell them knives. And they said, you know, I'm 18. They're like, yeah, sure. Come over, show us some knives, like whatever. Like, you know, and I was like, you don't have to buy any if you don't want to. Just watch my presentation. They're like, sure. So I called everybody in the church directory. At this point in time, I didn't even have a car. So my mom would drive me around, or I would take the bus. I remember I even took the bus. At this point, I had just graduated high school, so I moved back in with my mom in Maryland. So I took a bus, a Greyhound bus, back down to Richmond, Virginia, where I had just gone to high school. So I knew people down there. I was going to church down there. And I called up all the church people down there. And I was driving around trying to, you know, sell as many knives as possible. And within the 10 days, I sold $10,000 worth of knives, and I completed the Fast Start. And out of those $10,000, I made $2,000. So you're 18. I'm 18, right? $2,000 in 10 days is crazy. I've never made that much money in my life, right? I remember like being proud of it. I was telling my dad, I was like, Dad, I just made $2,000. And he's like, how much did you sell? I was like, I sold $10,000 of knives. He was like, that's not a very good percentage there, buddy. And I was like, well, I mean, I guess you're right. My mom was like, no, let him be happy. Let him be happy. He sold the 10,000 knives. So it was this accomplishment that I had where I thought like I could do anything after that. You know what I mean? I was like, I could sell anything. Like if I could sell $10,000 worth of kitchen knives, and I don't know anything about kitchen knives. Like I just learned it on the go. So that was another huge monumental point in my life where I was like, maybe I can sell things too.
But you moved. Now you're in LA, right?
Yes.
How did that happen? Why did that happen? And what was it like?
So I moved. Okay, so there was a reason why I moved to LA. I moved to LA roughly 5 years ago, just about. Back home when I was in Maryland, it got to a point where I couldn't really, like I would get a job here, a dead end job here, dead end job there. And it got to the point where I was like, man, you know what? Let me just try something else. So I went and got a camera. I bought like one of those T2i DSLR cameras around that time. Yeah, Canon. And I started shooting music videos. So it started with me just doing one for my friend that I also did music with at the time. I shot a music video for him. And I learned how to edit on YouTube. I Google searched how to edit videos and how to use the programs and stuff. And we shot a video. He posted the video online, and one of his friends hit him up and was like, hey, who did that video for you? And he was like, oh, it was Pro. He did it. And he was like, how much does he charge? And at that moment, I was like, oh, I can like get money for this. I could do music videos and make money. And then I started just doing music videos for like everybody. It was like word of mouth. Like I did a video here. Somebody was like, Pro, can you do a video for me? So I'm going around doing music videos for a bunch of people and making a little bit of money here, $200 here, $300 here, really small amounts of money. And then I found this rapper. And these were mostly 4 rappers that I was shooting music videos for. And then I found this young artist, this rapper on YouTube from doing all these things. I found him and I was like, wow, this kid is amazing. Like, he's really, really good. He's like probably the most talented rapper that I've been doing this, right? So I met a lot of rappers. This is like the most, you know, like, wow, I was like, oh wow, this kid is amazing. Most impressed that I was. So I find him on Facebook. I reach out to him. I said, hey man, look, I shoot music videos. I know you don't know me and I don't know you, but I came across one of your songs. I came across one of your videos on YouTube, and I think you're amazing. I think what you're doing is incredible, and I want to shoot a music video for you for free. I won't charge you anything. He was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. He hits me back, right? And so we go out, we shoot a video, we post it. That video within the first week had like 5,000 views. And this is a big deal, right, for us. Like, I've never done a video and released and it's 5,000 views. So I'm like, okay, let's do another video. We go get another one of his songs. He sends me the music. I listen through. I'm like, okay, I really like this one. We shoot another video. And the second week, we put out the second video and it hits 10,000 views by itself. This is no promotion, no nothing. We just posted and it does 10,000 views. So I'm like, all right, we're on to something. We need to figure this out. So from then on, we start working together, right? I'm like, okay, what else do you need? What else do you need? We got music videos. What do you need? He's like, well, I need some pictures. I need, you know, some cool photo shoot stuff. I'm like, all right, take pictures for him. I need a studio to record. I just so happen to have a studio at my place. I was like, yeah, come record here. I pick him up. I drive, pick him up, come back to my house. He spends the night. He does like 4 or 5 songs. I record everything. I mix, master everything for him on my computer. I'm like, okay, what else do you need? He's like, well, I got a mixtape. I want to put out a mixtape, but I need an album cover. I need a cover art for the mixtape. And I'm like, okay, I download Photoshop. Let's figure it out. Let's do it. But and then I put together the album artwork. So little by little, I'm doing all these things for him, and I'm realizing that I just became his manager. I'm his manager, right? So like, I'm finding him shows, I'm booking him gigs, I'm getting him interviews, all these things. And we do this for a few years in Maryland with nothing really huge happening, just like a little buzz here, a little buzz there. Nothing crazy. So I get to the point where I'm like, look, we have to either go to Maryland. I mean, we're in Maryland. We have to either go to New York or LA. New York or LA, because Maryland is not the place to be if you want to make music and be successful in the music industry, right? So that's when I pick up and move to LA. So that was the reason I moved to LA, to get him a record deal. So we're working back in Maryland for those years. And like I said, nothing's happening. And it was probably about 3 or 4 years, I want to say, nothing was happening. And then when I moved to LA, I'm sleeping on couches. I'm sleeping on couches in Van Nuys. I'm sleeping on couches in West Hills. I'm sleeping on couches in Culver City. So while I'm sleeping on couches, I'm telling everybody I know about him. I'm like, hey, this kid, I have, you know, this kid I'm managing. He's amazing. Like, please just listen to everybody I meet in the industry. If I meet an executive as a music label, I'm telling them about him. You know what I mean? And I'm doing all these things. So within the first year of me being in LA, I get him a record deal. And it's with a company called Rostrum Records. That same music company used to have Wiz Khalifa and Mac Miller in their record label. So it was a big deal for us. It was huge, right? And like I said, I'm still couching it at this point. Like, I'm just now.
Did you make money from this deal?
Yeah, I made 10% of whatever his advance was, but it wasn't a big, it wasn't a big amount of money.
LA is expensive.
LA is expensive to live, period. The studio apartment that I'm in right now, this place, this is my first apartment ever.
Wait a minute. Wait. Pro. You're a millionaire living in a studio apartment.
Yeah.
Really? You're a musician. You're a musician in LA, a millionaire, and living in a studio apartment. How big is your apartment?
Maybe 12 feet by 12 feet. So what's that? 144 feet. And then I have the bathroom right there and the kitchen. So it adds another, I don't know, maybe 60, 80 feet. So like,
dude, you're a millionaire. You're a millionaire. You can get any place right now. You can buy a house right now. Why? Okay. Let's come back to LA. You moved to LA. What was the biggest job you got?
The biggest job I got was where I'm working right now. So I worked a few things here and there. I was freelancing, doing video shoots here, photo shoots here. Hey guys, need a videographer? I got you. Just random events, red carpets and stuff like that. I didn't get my official first real job until 2018. And that's when I started working for the company that I'm at now. It's a hip hop music company. And the first year I made $36,000. And I was able to pay rent. I was able to buy food, and and I saved the rest. I put it in the stock market. So I didn't start putting money into anything in the stock market until 2019. So it took me the whole year of 2018 to save up a little bit of money, because think about it. It's 36,000. I'm living. It's $1,200 a month at my apartment. Maybe back then it was a little cheaper, maybe $1,000 a month. So what's that? 12,000, right? So 36,000 minus, let's say 12,000. What's that? 20K left. So with 20K, I'm buying food and I'm saving as much as I can, as much as possible.
How did you start in the stock market?
I started in the stock market in 2019. So in the spring of 2019 is when I was able to save up a little bit of money. I had maybe $5,000, maybe $10,000 saved up, right? Maybe even a little bit less than that. But I really wanted to put my money somewhere that it could make me more money. So I was thinking, okay, I could have $5,000 in the bank doing nothing, right? Collecting dust. Or I could figure out a way to make more money with that money, right? So that's when I research stuff and I find Robinhood. So Robinhood is an app here in the United States where you can buy and sell stocks and you don't have to pay any commission. So you don't have to pay any fees on the buys and the sells, which is amazing, right? So I download Robinhood. I start using it. The very first stock that I buy is Tesla in 2019. And when I bought Tesla, that year, it was actually going down. So I remember it being on the news. It was like at $250 per share. Then it went down to $240 per share, $230, $220. It even went under $200. It went down to like $180 per share, I believe. And this time, and during this time, I'm like, why is it? I'm not understanding why it's going down. Everybody on TV is saying Tesla's going to go bankrupt, or they're going to fail, or it's not going to work. Elon Musk is crazy. This is never going to work. And I'm looking at Tesla. I'm doing research. I'm Googling. I'm looking at news pieces. I'm looking at articles. I'm doing as much research as I possibly can on Tesla. And I'm like, this is a good company. I'm like, the cars they create are good. They have so many awards. There's so many different publications saying Teslas have amazing cars, safety rating, all these things. They're building crazy, like really good cars, and they're electric cars. And I'm like, okay, I feel like the future is electric cars, right? I feel like this is the direction that we're going. So even if it doesn't happen this year, maybe it'll happen next year. Maybe it'll happen in 5 years. I don't know, but I think this is the future. So this is where I'm going to put my money in. So I start investing in Tesla, and every month that I have a little bit of money, a few $100, $500 left over, I don't know, I put it in Tesla, put it in Tesla, put it in Tesla. So the same way that the same way that I'm all in on Dogecoin now, I was all in on Tesla back then without even realizing it. I was just putting all my money in it, right? So throughout the year, Tesla starts going back up. And then a lot of people, we know this, Tesla like skyrockets. Around that time, I also have Uber. And then I start buying Uber stocks. I start buying Carnival Cruise Line stocks. I start buying a bunch of different stocks. And I made a good amount of money just investing in the stock market.
And you saved up. I heard that. Okay, so what was your goal? What was all that money for? What did you want to get the first purchase?
My goal was to buy a house. And the reason why I say that is I have my artist in Maryland. Remember I was telling you about that I got the deal out here. He ended up, he had a kid. He had a baby back home. So he had to be there for, his daughter and his parents, and there's more support there and everything. My goal was to be able to buy a house here so then he could come move out here and live with me and have his own room, his own space, everything, and work on his music. I also have other friends that are artists that I believe in as well, So I have about 2 or 3 different artists that I truly believe in. And I wanted to buy a house with enough rooms so everybody has their own room and they could all work on music and they don't have to worry about rent and they don't have to worry about food. We'll figure it out. And all they have to worry about is music, and we can all be together to create and just create music. That was my goal.
So how did that go?
I didn't have enough money for a house. Even with the money that I saved up and the money in the stock market and everything, I had enough money if the down payment for a house was like 5% or was 3% or something like that. A lot of people here, that's what they pay. They pay 5% or 5% or 3% or maybe 10%. I don't know. But in my case, it was a very special situation where I actually the loan, because I had just started making money. You know what I mean? I had just built
Yeah, it
credit.
takes time
It
to
takes
build
time.
credit. Absolutely.
So they told me I had to put down 20% of a house. And if you know anything about LA prices, even Long Beach, which is a little further from LA, it's like 30, 40 minutes down from LA, you can't get a house with 3 bedrooms for less than $500,000. Or you're going to pay 600,000, 700,000, right? So the places I was looking at was too expensive. I couldn't do 20%. So I tried a lot of different, I went to open houses. I talked to realtors. I tried a lot of different things. The last house that I tried to get I was like, maybe I'm shooting too high. Maybe I'll get a house that's only $300,000 instead of 500, right? And we'll be a little bit further away. We're not going to be in the city. We'll be out in the woods, in the forest somewhere, like 50 minutes away or something. And then it'll be a house that's not close to a bunch of people. It's a, there was a place I found, a little cottage place that wasn't close to anybody, and we could blast music. We don't have to worry about neighbors and all that other stuff. So I was like, this is perfect. The house was only 2 bedrooms, but I thought, well, maybe the living room, somebody could sleep in the living room. So this house in particular, I was like, this is it. This is the one. Like if this doesn't work out, I don't know what else to do, because I tried, like I said, I tried several different houses, right? So I called the realtor. I'm like, hey, can you please call this house, put in an offer. I can put 20% down of 300,000. I'm ready. She's like, all right. So she calls the owners. The very next day, she calls me back. And she says, they want the house for cash, 100% of the house. You have to pay the whole thing. And after I heard that, man, I was so devastated. I was like so upset. I was like, I tried everything. I worked hard. I did what I was supposed to do, blood, sweat, and tears. I saved up every dollar I could for this moment. And it didn't happen. So I was just so frustrated, man. Like, I was so mad. I was mad at everything. I was mad at God. I was mad at my situation. I was just mad at everybody at that time. And it took me a little bit to come to terms with it and say, you know what? I worked so hard for 32 years. That was when I was 30. I was worked so hard for 32 years of my life. What's another year? Let me just focus on work and give it one more year, and I'm a bust my ass. I'm gonna work really hard again, one more year, and then let's try again next year, right? Let's try again next year. So that's what happened.
Okay, Pro. So now tell us about Dogecoin. What attracted you to Dogecoin? How did you start with Dogecoin?
So fast forward a year, right? So beginning of this year, I was like, let's buy that house. Let's figure it out. I saved up a little bit more money. You know what I mean? Let's go. So at the end of January, so this is around the time I'm starting to look at houses again, right? At the end of January, I discovered GameStop. Somebody had told me about GameStop maybe a week before that or 2 weeks before I really researched it. They were like, hey, what do you think of GameStop? Is that a good thing to invest in? I'm like, no. I'm like, GameStop is like a brick and mortar. It's a physical store. Like, those are going out of business. Everything's going online. Everything is going direct to consumer. It's not a very sound business model. It doesn't make sense. They're going to go out of business, like Blockbuster, like all these other things went out of business. And it wasn't until I realized why people were investing in GameStop that it made sense to me, right? So the whole GameStop investing thing came from people wanting to, band together to go against the hedge funds, to go against Wall Street, to go against all these powerful, super rich people that were betting on GameStop going out of business, right? So you have all these little people come together, like, let's go against the big guys and let's buy GameStop. Everybody buy GameStop. If we all pull together and buy as much GameStop, they're not going to be able to cover their, cover their shorts or whatever. So, because they were all shorting it, right? They wouldn't be able to cover their bets. So all these things happened, and I was like, all right, I invested in GameStop. That's the interesting part. I invested in GameStop. But the day that I invested in it, it was about $300. The very next day, it was supposed to go up to 400, 500, 600. But Robinhood disables the buy button, so you can't buy any more GameStop. You can only sell, you can't buy, which is illegal. You're not allowed to do that. So when that happened, obviously nobody else could buy, so the price starts going back down. So as the price is going down, I'm losing money, right? So I'm like, man, this is ridiculous. I can't believe they're doing this. Like, this is illegal. And so as soon as that happened, I was like, this is rigged. The system's messed up. Like, this is ridiculous. This isn't free trade. They're trying to manipulate the market, all these things, right? So that's when I was like, there's got to be something else that I can invest in if the stock market isn't working out, and they could do whatever they want whenever they want. They could change the rules around. You know what I mean? That's when I discovered Dogecoin. So I had heard about cryptocurrency. I had heard about Bitcoin. I had heard about all these other things. I had never heard about Dogecoin. That was the first time I ever heard about Dogecoin. And I was like, this is really interesting, because unlike Bitcoin, unlike Ethereum, unlike Litecoin and all these other cryptocurrencies, Dogecoin is a meme. So that was very intriguing to me. The fact that it was a meme, the fact that it was a joke, a meme combined with cryptocurrency, I thought the branding was genius. I was like, if I had to make a cryptocurrency, this is exactly what I would do. I would make it so it's friendly, so it's inviting, so it's fun, so kids can get into it, teenagers can get into it, older people aren't intimidated by it. Like, this is a great branding for a crypto. I thought it was brand new. It wasn't until I started doing my research, which I did for an entire week. I was doing like in-depth research, like hours and hours and hours a day, that I realized this is an older cryptocurrency. This came out in 2013. This has been around for 8 years. This started as a joke, but then people really liked it, so they made it better. You know what I mean? It wasn't until all that, and then I started looking at the graphs, and I went back year by year and studied all the graphs and saw, like, okay, what were the trends? Did it go back to zero? Did it go back to one ever? No, it didn't. Okay, it keeps going up. It keeps going up. Okay, and then it wasn't until, as soon as I discovered Dogecoin, and I did a little bit of research at first, I was like, oh, this is interesting. I looked at my Robinhood. I was like, oh, I can buy it on Robinhood. Okay. I had $40 to spare, right? $40 left in my Robinhood that I could use. I was like, let me put $40 in it. Let's see what it does. So I put $40 in Dogecoin. This is when it was 1 penny, right? The very next day, just like with GameStop, the very next day, what happened? This happened the same way. The very next day, Dogecoin goes from 1 penny to 8 cents in a single day. And I'm watching it while it happens. I'm looking at my $40 turn into $60, turn into $100, $150, $200, $250, $300, $350. I'm like, what is this? Oh my, like, I've never bought a stock in the stock market that did this ever. And I'm like, I don't know what this Dogecoin thing is, but whatever it is, the next time that this happens, I'm not going to miss it. I'm going to be right there. I'm going to figure it out.
So what did you do? You didn't miss it like GameStop this time. You were early.
Yeah, exactly. In my mind, I was a little bit late because I was like, oh, I'm going to get it at 4 cents. You know what I mean? But it was early compared to the rest of the world. So what did I do? Within that, like after it did the spike up to 8 cents, right? I was like, I have to study this every single day. So I start staring at my screen and watching the behavior and watching the trends and watching what Dogecoin does. So after that 8 cent spike, Dogecoin came all the way back down to 2 cents, right? And I was like, okay. I saw it bouncing around, came down to 2 cents. When it hit 2 cents, it stayed at 2 cents for about 5 hours. It was exactly at 0.027, 0.028. It stayed around there and did this for about 5 hours, 6 hours. Like, it didn't jump up, it didn't go down. It just stayed flat, around pretty much flat. And I was like, that's got to be a floor. I think that's the floor. It's not going to go under this ever again. So I didn't know for sure, obviously. This was a theory I had. So I was like, let me put some money in it. So I put about, I think I put like 50,000, because this is when I started getting out a margin, right?
Wow, 50,000. Yeah. Wow.
I put $50,000 in it, but my margin was 125,000. So I figured I put about half, a little bit less than half. If I'm right, and tomorrow it goes up, then I'm right. If it goes down, like let's say I wake up tomorrow and it's at a penny, it's at 1 penny. I'm like, oh, I lost half of that 50,000. I would have put in the rest and averaged down, right? So this is what happened. The next day I wake up and it shot up to 5 cents. And I'm looking and I'm like, wow, I doubled my money. I doubled my 50,000 in like an hour or two. It goes up to 5 cents, 4 cents, 5 cents, 3 cents. It does all types of things throughout the day. And then at nighttime, around 11 p.m., midnight, it does the same thing it did the night before, except this time it's at 0.033, 0.034 for 6 hours. I'm like, okay, this is the new floor. It's never going back down to 2 ever again. And it's never going to go back down to 3. So what do? I put in more money, right?
How much in total did you put?
I put in my whole margin. So $125,000, which isn't my money. I borrowed that from Robinhood. That's based on my stocks at the time, which is about 250,000. So if I want to do margin on a stock, they'll give you your full 250 leverage. So they'll take my 250 portfolio. They'll let me use 250 to put on a stock if I want to get margin, right? Since it's crypto, they only let me use half of my amount. So 125K. That's what that was. Okay. So I put in the rest of the margin, right? So the next day I'm following Dogecoin like I am every day, right? I'm following, it goes to 5 cents, 4 cents, whatever. And it comes down. And at one split second, it goes from 3 cents to 0.029, a little bit under 3 cents, right? And I'm like, oh, this is my chance to get it under 3 cents. So what do? I sell everything and then I buy back at 0.028, 0.029, right? In me selling and buying back, I lose $20,000 in that split second, right? So I'm like, it's okay, I'll get it back later. It's fine, 20,000, whatever, not a big deal. So the next day, so that night, right? That night, it goes down to before it was 0.027, 0.028. Then it was to 0.033, 0.034. This time it went to 0.035. 0.034, 0.036, right? It was a little bit higher even. So this is what happens. The next day I wake up and I'm like, I figured it out. This is never going to go back to 3. This is never going to go back to 2. This is never going to go back to 1. So the next day it shoots up again in the morning and it goes up to 5 cents, 6 cents, whatever. It comes back down, right? And around 4 cents or 5 cents, I'm looking at my phone and I'm like, I lost 20K last night, right? And I'm looking at my phone and I'm up 25,000. So I'm like, look, if my theory is correct, and I was right the past few nights, if I sell everything now and make 25K, I can get my 20,000 back from last night, and I'll get an extra 5K on top of that. And then tonight, when it goes down and stays flat, I'll buy it all. I'll go all in again. I'll put everything in. Not a big deal. So I sell out of everything. I make the 25K back. I'm feeling happy. I'm like, okay, I'm good. I'll wait till tonight. I'll buy it all back and then I won't touch it anymore, right? That's the same night that Elon tweets the Lion King, right? The Simba, he's holding up Dogecoin. He's like, you're welcome. He's like, Dogecoin, only ups, only down, no highs, no lows, only Dogecoin. Dogecoin is the people's crypto. Dogecoin is the future. He's writing about 8 or 9 or 10 tweets. He's talked about Dogecoin before, but never this much. So as I'm looking at my phone, waiting for it to go down to what it was before, he's doing all those tweets. So what happens? The price skyrockets and goes to 4 cents, 5 cents, 6 cents, 7 cents. I'm like, oh my God, I'm missing out. This is it. This is the point that it's going to just go up. Like I'm missing, that 8 cents that I was waiting on. This is it. So that's when I start realizing, okay, I have to go all in because all of my theory was right. I also believe Dogecoin is the future because of memes and the language of the millennials. And I feel like this is the direction we're going into. Cryptocurrency is the future. And this is the most fun one. This is the one that's most appealing, better branding. So all of these things came together, right? My looking at the graphs, my theory on what the future holds. And now I have Elon Musk that was just super successful with Tesla, and I betted on him before, and I was right. You know what I mean? Like, this guy knows what he's doing. He might be a little cuckoo or whatever. Some people might think he's a little crazy, but he knows what he's doing. So that was just a cherry on top. Elon Musk saying, I'm gonna help Dogecoin was the cherry on top. So then that's when I went all in. The next day I go all in. I sell out of all of my stocks. I sell Tesla. I sell Uber. I sell everything that I have, and I put it in Dogecoin. And then I go out and I max out 2 of my credit cards, put it in Dogecoin. I call my aunt, call my uncle, call my mom. Hey, can I borrow some money? Can I borrow some money? Put it all in Dogecoin. So at this point, I buy 5 million Dogecoins and I spend about $250,000. Everything I got, plus the margin, plus everything, right? So
Yeah.
This was it. I was like, this is it. I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to look at this until next year because I don't want to pay short-term capital gains. I want to play, you know what I mean? And that's 40%. If I wait a year, then I only have to pay long-term capital gains, which is 15%. It's a better deal for me. And then in a year, in my head, in a year, it might go to 10 cents, 15, maybe 20 cents. I'm thinking like, it'll probably take a year, right? I'm calculating I'll be a millionaire maybe in 6 months or a year, something like that.
When you reached a million, when was it and how was it when you reached your first million?
Let's talk about
what
that.
Happened?
So I reached my first $1 million on April 15 at 6 p.m. I will always remember that because I became a millionaire, right? So I remember looking at my phone and staring at my phone and it's going up. Dogecoin is going up, right? So it goes to 10 cents, 15 cents, 20 cents, 25 cents, 30, 35 cents. I'm looking at my phone and I'm like, this is more money than I've ever seen on my account in my entire life. I see 300,000, 500,000 in a matter of minutes. 300,000, 400,000, 500,000, 600,000. It hits 700,000. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like at any moment, I'm thinking it's going to come back down. It's going to crash. Like this is the peak, right? The same way it hit 8 cents, it dropped back down to 2 cents. I was like, this is going to fall back down.
Yeah.
It's what happened before. But it doesn't stop. It keeps going. It goes from 700,000 to 800,000 to 900,000. And then I finally cross over the $1 million mark. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm a millionaire today, right now. I'm 33 years old. I'm sitting on my bed and I just became a millionaire. Like, I can't believe it. Like I'm in shock. Like I didn't think it was going to happen this quickly. I thought it would take a year, maybe 2 years. I don't know. I didn't think it was going to happen this quickly, but I knew Dogecoin was going to go up, but I didn't know it was going to happen this quickly. So what do? The first person I think about is my mom, right? I'm like, I got to call my mom. I got to text my mom, but it's kind of, you know, in Maryland, it's like 3 hours later than here. So I'm like, maybe she's asleep. Maybe she's laying down. So I texted her. I was like, hey mom, are you up? Are you awake? And she's like, yeah, what's up? I'm like, your son just became a millionaire. And then she's like, no, you didn't. You're joking around, whatever. I'm like, no, I'm serious. So I sent her a screenshot and she's like, yay. She's like, good job. And then I'm like, mom, it's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. Like everything's going to be okay now. Like we're good. Like we're good now. Like you can look for a house. We can finally own a house. You can go look for a car you want. I'll buy you a car. Like anything is possible now. Like this, like we finally made it. Like in my mind, I finally made it in my life. I was able to make my parents proud. They're immigrants. I was born in Brazil. We came here when I was 6 years old. My parents moved to America to make a better life for me. And how can I repay them? How can I show them my gratitude? By becoming something in life, by accomplishing something in life. And I feel like I finally did that. And there's no better feeling, in the world.
Wow, that's crazy. Listen, when there was the SNL show, Elon Musk show, was the host, had your show, you were on Andre's channel, and I had SNL, and I have my, platform for trading Dogecoin. And I was seeing you every time you show your phone, and your account just loses 100,000, couple of $100,000. You were around 3 million. I remember a couple of days before that, at least. During the show, you were around $2.5 to $2.6 million, and then you showing us those. Your phone with the hundreds of thousands. How can you stand that? How can you and I didn't feel that you were scared or I felt like you didn't care. How can that happen? You know how long it takes to make $1 million for in your job will take you to save $1 million, probably take you like 30, 40 years if you save wisely.
Yeah.
So how do you do that, man? Why?
I'm able to stomach those drops because I got my training wheels early on, buying and selling Tesla. So in 2019, when I put 10,000 in a Tesla, it would, let's say it goes up a little bit, right? And I make $500 or $1,000, right? I'm like, oh, I just made $1,000. It takes me 2 weeks to make $1,000. Let me cash out right now and sell it so I can hold on to those $1,000, right? And then I get it, and I'm like, okay, great. I locked in my profit. I made $1,000. But what am I going to do? Put it in the bank? No, I'm going to invest it again, right? So then I put it back in Tesla. Then it drops $1,000, and I'm like, oh, I just lost $1,000. So trying to do this jump in, jump out, I call it the double Dutch theory. I'm actually going to do a video about this on my channel to teach people to have patience and to hold, which hodl, right? HODL, diamond hands, which is what I have, to hold for the long term, because most people want the quick satisfaction, the quick immediate profits. Like they just want that. When in reality, if you jump in and jump out, jump in and jump out, you're going to lose in the long run, because you're never going to be able to know exactly where it's going to go. You might sell too low. You might buy too high. It might drop more. You know what I mean? Like there's no telling. The only way to guarantee a profit in the stock market or in crypto is to hold something long term. So whenever you go into an investment, my best advice is you want to go into an investment thinking, I'm going into this for about 2 years. 2 to 5 years is what I'm looking at for this investment. You know what I mean? And so that's how I see Dogecoin. That's how I saw Tesla. When I started investing in Tesla, I saw this as a company for the future. But I was so new to gaining money and losing money in the stock market that I was jumping at every profit I got, and I ended up losing money in the long run. I mean, I ended up making money, but those little jump ins and jump outs, I lost a lot of money doing that. So now with Dogecoin, when I see 100,000 up, 100,000 down, 200,000 up, 300,000 down, it's the same thing that I used to see with $1,000. But if I believe in something and I know it's the future, I know that whatever happens now doesn't matter. What matters is what happens in a year from now.
Do you feel like you're like leading this Doge millennial revolution thing, or because otherwise why won't you sell? Because people will say, like, if he's waiting, is he being too greedy, or is this the new millennial revolution?
It's a combination of things. When I first invested in Dogecoin, like I said, I was going into this for at least a year, so I knew that going into it. So right now I'm a millionaire, but it could have not happened for another 10 months. I'm not going to sell because I never planned on selling within a year. Do you see what I'm saying? So I'm sticking to my original plan. So a part of it is my plan going into it. I'm holding it for at least a year. That's what I told myself, and I'm sticking to it no matter what happens, right? That's one. Two, I never expected for people to look up to me. I never expected for New York Times to do an article about me. I never expected CNBC to reach out to me and do an article or want to do an interview. I never expected Business Insider. All these things are happening. I didn't know that this was going to happen. I just made a decision and I stuck to it. And then they start reaching out to me. I'm getting emails like, hey, you want to do this? Hey, you want? Sure, I can do it. Yeah, not a problem. You know, if what I'm doing is going to inspire the next person to look into stocks or look into crypto and do some studies and do some research and pick something to make more money for themselves and their family, that's what I'm all about. I'm hoping to inspire people. I'm hoping to motivate people to get out there and really figure out the investing system, whether it is stocks or whether it is cryptocurrency. It doesn't matter what you want to do. Just do something that can enrich your life and the lives of your loved ones.
Bro, let me ask you something. What happens if you wake up tomorrow and it drops? Dogecoin drops to like a couple of cents.
I'm pretty sure you know what I'm going to say, right?
I want the audience to hear it.
I'll buy the dip. What I mean by that? What I mean by buying the dip? Do you want me to explain that?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, buying the dip basically means that Dogecoin is on sale. So if you want to go buy an Xbox or a PlayStation and it's $500, and then you wake up the next day and it's only $300, are you still going to buy it? You probably are, because now it's on sale. So I look at Dogecoin as going on sale if the price goes down, and I'm buying the dip. And I actually did buy the dip not too long ago. After Saturday Night Live happened, I bought 30,000 more Dogecoins for about 47 cents.
Yeah, they say Dogecoin never falls, only goes on sale, right?
Exactly.
That's the what's it called? Wall Street Bets thing.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a couple more questions just about Elon Musk. How do you feel about Elon Musk and what he did in Saturday Night Live? He tried to make it up, and then what he did with Bitcoin, and then also he said, "Okay, I'm not selling Bitcoin." And then there's a talk about him creating his own currency. Wouldn't that basically kill Dogecoin if he did that? And I kind of feel that this is some kind of thing something that he might actually do as Elon Musk. How do you feel about that?
I think Elon's a genius. I think he's a very smart guy. I think he knows what he's doing. When it comes to Saturday Night Live, I think that was all jokes. That was all fun. Like, people shouldn't read into it too much. He went over there to joke around. You know what I mean? Like, let's make some jokes about poke fun at Dogecoin. Sure. You know, but there were some parts that were serious. Like, the guy at one point, they're sitting on the news desk for the skit, and the guy pulls out a dollar bill and he's like, "This is real. This is real money. What is Dogecoin?" And Elon says, "Dogecoin is just as real as that dollar bill you're holding." And that was serious. That wasn't even part of the joke. You know what I mean?
But he also said it's a hustle.
He said that as a joke. Do you see what I'm saying? So like,
this is the problem, that everybody takes him seriously, even if he jokes, because he's joking everywhere. Even if it's Twitter about Dogecoin, he jokes, but it affects the value of Dogecoin.
It does, but you have to look past that. You have to see the underlying thing here. Like, Elon is seriously helping out Dogecoin. He's working with the devs. Like, if somebody that's trolling, "Oh, I'm working with the devs to make it better," like, does that make sense to you? No. Everybody thought he was trolling, but you have to read between the lines. You have to see that he actually does believe in Dogecoin. He wants to help Dogecoin and the community and the actual cryptocurrency because he's a fan of it. And yeah, if there's going to be jokes about it, it's all in good fun, man. He went to a comedy skit place and said it's a hustle as a joke. You know what I mean? Like if you can't see that, then I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Tell me, so since you're the slum Doge millionaire, the real Doge father, not Elon Musk, you're the real Doge father. Man, and so everybody, my audience would want to know something. What are your predictions for Dogecoin by end of the year? So, of course, this is not financial advice. Just predictions.
I gotta make sure I say that this is not financial advice, and I am not a financial advisor. Please do not put in more money than you can afford to lose. All right,
there you go.
Now I can say what I need to say. Invest at your own risk. So I think Dogecoin, if I had to make a guess, by the end of the year, I think Dogecoin will be anywhere from $1 to $2.
$1 to $2. I mean, dollar I can imagine, because we almost got there.
$1 to $2. Up to $1.50. It could be $2 maybe. At the high, I think 2. At the lowest, I think 1. So anything in between that, it could go.
Awesome, bro. Thank you so much for your time, brother. Really appreciate it.
Okay, guys. Well, before I take off here, I want to thank you all for watching. Make sure you check me out on the Dogecoin Millionaire on my YouTube, and follow me on social media at Pro the Doge. And I just want to wish everybody a happy Eid and festivities and everything you guys have with the celebrations and Ramadan and everything like that.
Thank you, bro. Really appreciate it. Really enjoyed it. Well, next time next time I see you, I'm gonna see you as a millionaire as well, and nothing bad will happen, because really,
man, you want to know something about me? Most people in my position would have sold their millions. Most people in my position would have already bought houses, would have bought cars, would have been vacationing and partying and doing all that. I don't live that way. I live frugally. I live below my means. The reason I was even able to make an investment in Dogecoin that I did was because I was able to save up for years. And nobody sees that part where you save up, where I don't go on vacation. I don't buy fancy things. I don't buy designer clothes. I don't go to concerts. I don't go on vacation. I work, I focus, I pay bills, I pay food, and that's it. Everything else save, then invest. And that's what I want everybody to get out of this.
Awesome, brother. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Let's meet again, okay? Let's meet again in a couple of months.
Let's do it.
Thank you so much.
I'll be
Thanks.
at 5 million in a couple months, so I'll see you then.
I certainly hope so. I really wish so. Okay, brother? You have a wonderful day.
You too.
So I truly enjoyed talking to Pro. He's a delightful man, and truly hope that he makes it. And Dogecoin won't let him down. I certainly admire his courage. This is a very risky decision that he's making. So yeah, I don't think it's luck. He earned it. I think luck needs work. And this guy put in the work. You don't necessarily succeed in a certain profession just because you work hard. Working hard, full stop, leads to unlikely success in different parts of life. I truly believe that. And my channel here is an example. My expertise never were like making YouTube videos where I talk. I hate talking to the camera. But throughout the years, I did a lot in different fields that equipped me to make this channel. And in less than a year, I couldn't be happier with the results. I feel the lesson here is you shouldn't be discouraged when you work hard and nothing happens, because you never know what's, a couple of steps away from you. Thank you, guys.